Oh, hello everyone, it's Gill Fountain here, and today I'm here with my guest, Lisa Billingham. Now, as you know, we go out every Wednesday, we go live, we usually live stream into three groups: One Woman's Voice, Building Tomorrow Today, and Women's Entrepreneurs Network. That's a total of around about 78,000 members. Not that we're going to have 77,000 members watching our video, but hopefully as we go along we will more people will hit the replay as we promote and people get to see us. So today I'm delighted because Lisa and I met a couple of years ago, just as we went into lockdown. It was the last presentation that I did in Coffee Natter, which is run by Ralph Watson, up in Bromsgrove, isn't it, Lisa?
Yes, it was. It was longer than that, you know, Jill.
Was it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. See?
It was, yeah, must have been 2019, the very beginning of 2019, because I went away in 2019.
Oh, wow. You see, that's the thing, isn't it? We've lost that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Lisa and I were we were presenting to a lovely group of networking people. And
absolutely.
Lisa, I hadn't presented into that group before, but I tell you, I have still got friends out of that group.
Yeah, me too.
Later. It's a brilliant group, isn't it? But we met, and then Lisa, you disappeared off the scene. We went into lockdown. But let me first of all introduce you, because you're an author.
Yes.
You're a psychic medium. Tell me exactly, because I've got those words mixed up.
Psychic and spiritual medium.
Psychic and spiritual medium. The books, I know, because we've been talking, came to you, or the first book came to you when you were away, when you were off the scene. Tell us a little bit more about how all of this transpired.
In 2018, when I set up the business, everybody was saying, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. And I thought, okay, so I went on a course and I looked at writing a book, and I did absolutely nothing with it. And then I went away, I went to work away, I gave up the business, and I just said, I need to go away. I literally do need to find myself. I'd been made redundant and I needed to get to a point where I was me again, because I'd just been crushed. And because of lockdown, I'd worked abroad twice. So I'd worked in Menorca and then I worked in Fuerteventura. And it was while I was in Fuerteventura that I never picked up a pencil really while I was in Menorca, but when I was in Fuerteventura, all of a sudden all these things just came to me and I thought, oh, this is a set of guidance cards, this is a book, this is this, and it's just completely from nowhere. So I made a load of notes. I'd already obviously got a lot of notes from before. Some of the stuff I'd burnt and got rid of because I'd done journaling as a cathartic healing process rather than writing. So I'd kind of cobbled together what I'd got from Fuerteventura and what I'd still got on my computer and put it together and went, right, okay, so I need to put this into a book. And my colleague and my friend who I was on the plane with when we came back from Fuerteventura said, well, what are you going to do? Because obviously nobody knew what we were going to do and how long we were going to be like this. No. And I said, I'm going to write my book. And
wow. You did. And your first book, you said, was very much about yourself and your own journey.
Yeah.
Now, I've said your first book because actually you're already on your, beginning to research your third one. So
I
am. The first one is Katie,
a new chapter. Yeah.
Yes. And your second one,
Tom, the next chapter.
And what is Tom about? What does Tom concentrate on? What?
Tom tells the story from another character's point of view. And when I wrote the first one, I thought, do I do self-help? Do I do, business book? What do I do? And I'd already decided novel. And it's kind of novel, autobiography, self-help. It's everything rolled into one. And there's a lot of like cliffhangers, if you like. There's a lot of loose ends to tie up in the first one. because I thought if people buy into the character and they want to know more, they're not like the second one. And I did a survey on online, and that was the upshoot of it, was we want book 2. So I wanted to tell the story from another character's point of view, what happens in their life prior to meeting the main character, and then, you know, what happens to them afterwards as well.
Oh, right.
Because, you know, we've all got things going on, and there's always 2 sides to every story. You know, you don't necessarily know what somebody's thinking or feeling because they don't tell you. Are you all right? Yes, I'm fine, thank you. You know, and you just don't know. So it was kind of that, you know, there's message in there for everybody. And there's mental health issues run through it, and the mental health will run through all of the books. And then abuse in the first one, and major surgery. So there was quite a lot going on in there. And I thought, you know, we could tell her story, you know, we could go over prequel, sequel. And I thought, no, let's get it out there so that, you know, because it's from a male point of view, to encourage men, if they are struggling, to ask for that help that they need.
Did you find it more, it's difficult, isn't it? For me, I couldn't write a book from a male perspective. Yeah. Did you find that hard?
No, strangely enough, I didn't. I spoke to the research part of it. I did a lot of research. Then I wrote the book. Then I spoke to a friend of mine and he went, no, Lisa, that wouldn't work. And I'm like, oh, God. So I'm sitting there thinking I've got to write the whole book again. But I took a step back and I ended up doing 3 chapters and changing 3 chapters and rewrite and adding a new one in. And because I speak, a lot of my clients previously used to be men, and I have quite a lot of male friends as well.
Right.
And most of the people who I said, like, because I wanted the army research, and most of the people who responded were men. In fact, all of the people that responded in my Facebook question were men.
Oh, right.
Which was perfect, because obviously I wanted the male perspective of being in the army and being that, you know, that big butch, I'm a soldier, I shouldn't be feeling like this kind of thing. So, and it was just capturing the emotions, because I asked them what they felt about coming out of the army, and, you know, different things. And sometimes it's just, for me, obviously it's words, and it was just, right, 2 people had said the same thing, and I'm like, okay, so we need to make sure that that's in the book. And it's, you know, what was the help like in the 90s, because they're set in the 90s. There wasn't any, well, 80s, 90s.
Oh, wasn't
any. It was rough, you know, and
rough. You were left on your own quite a lot.
Yeah. So, and you know, the knock-on effect is still happening now for those people, because it talks about the Gulf. And my friend didn't serve in the Gulf, he wasn't in the army for very long, but PTSD only hit him a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the knock-on effect, isn't it?
It's a huge problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you hadn't ever written any books before, had you?
No.
We were discussing this earlier, because I thought you had a storyline background, or, you know, a writer's background, but it didn't. And where did the medium side of this come in? Because it's intriguing how it sort of mingles.
Yeah. It's a few years ago, well, quite a few years ago, when I was in my teens, I could see things happening, and I'm like, what's going on? And I could see the people clearly. And when I contacted them afterwards, they're still living. And it's like, oh, that happened to me at that time on that day. And I'm like, hang on a minute, this is freaking me out. What's going on here? And whether that would be empathic, I don't know what they would have said that was, but I hadn't got anybody around me at the time that could tell me what was going on.
No.
So I kind of buried it and just, you know, carried on doing things, making them stupid mistakes I was making, and, you know, all the rest of it. And 2011, I was at breaking point, and I did actually have a breakdown. Started in 2009, but really kicked off in 2011. And if the truth be told, it was from way back. And I went to, my friend persuaded me, after pretty much begging me, to go and see a medium. So I did. And it was life-changing because she brought my granddad through, and I'm like, nobody could have told her what she was telling me. Nobody, because, you know, nobody in the room knew. My grandfather knew, you know, that I used to do ballet, and that my favourite plant and his favourite plant was fuchsia, and, you know, so it was like, wow, hang on a minute. And then I went to see her again, and she went, you don't need me, you can do it yourself. And I just went, don't be stupid. I'm paying you to do this. This is what, you know, I'm here, you're there, you do. It's like, no, you do. So push, and it just happened to be a crystal ball she was using. Push it, and I'm like sitting there going, oh my God. And I'm like, all I can see is black darkness. And she went, yep, that's right. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not what I wanted to hear. And it was black darkness for a while. But then I'm like, yeah, but I can see the, you know, coming out of this, and what was saying. And yeah. So she then took it back, and she did do a reading for me, and it got me thinking. And then at pretty much the same time, I had my first healing session. I went away. I went to Southport, and in the hotel. This is just how, like, is it coincidence? Is it meant to be? Whatever you want to call it. I was in the hotel. They'd got a healing circle on a Tuesday night. We went, me and my mum, and it was phenomenal. And he said, you are so blocked, and like, and I'm like, I know, that's why I'm obviously here. And he said that was the worst case I've ever had.
Wow. And
I was like, and I knew I was a real mess. And I just thought, oh God, I've got to do something. I've got to do something before I do end it all, basically.
Yeah.
And that started me like researching, well, what is it? How can I help others doing it? You know, what do I need to do to get myself right? And then I did crystal therapy qualification, a coaching qualification, and then I sat in a psychic circle. And that was probably another turning point, because then I honed my skills. I didn't know I'd got them. I didn't know what to do, or, you know, whatever. And the top and bottom of it is you just got to trust yourself and the messages you're getting. Yeah. And I hadn't a clue. And I'm just going, wow. And I'm like, where's this coming from? And you know, and over the period of time, yeah, it can be. Yeah. I'm like, oh. And at first I'm like, well, I can only see a word, or I can only see that, or I can only sense that. Like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever it is, whatever you just say it, just give it. I'm like, okay. So I did. And then after a period of time, and more recently, over maybe the last 12 months or so, that it's changed the way that it happens and the way that it comes through. And I can see the people and the objects and the things, and I can say what colour they are, I can describe them. Like, and it varies over time, you know, different things, but it's so, I don't know, it's just, it
must be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a question that do you get really tired with it?
Yeah, it can be quite.
It's quite exhausting. It's not just somebody coming to you, because you do readings, don't you?
I do, yeah.
And this is a service that is a charge. You charge for this service, but it is part of your business, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But it isn't only those 60 minutes, is it? It's the time beforehand, but also recuperating afterwards. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, you have to make sure you've got to ground yourself. You've got to make sure you're protected, because some people and often mediums say, like, oh, they've been with me all day. And yeah, they can be, because you're open. Once you're open up, you know, you might be working all day, you're open, you've got, like, you know, hang on a minute, I'm not seeing them till this afternoon, or wait a minute, you're not coming till tomorrow. You know, it's they just come in, and you're like, hang on a minute, stop. So like opening yourself and closing yourself, because you can't be on it all the time. But if you haven't closed down or whatever, and at the time it can be quite tiring, and it is for them as well, because the reason it's called mediumship is they're higher frequency, we're lower frequency, and we meet in the middle. And it takes a lot to get there. So, you know, you've got to be, your energy levels have got to be up. And like there've been occasions, and I'm like, I've done like 12-hour days, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing a reading tomorrow, and I'm not going to give that client the best. So you have to look and you have to go, no, you know, I do this, give all the other stuff that is nonsensical to somebody else to do it, so that I can deliver the best service. Because it can be quite
because in my mind, the medium side, you can't, it's not like me. I can book somebody in now, like yourself. I can have another call at 11:30, another call. I can hour that each time, give myself the breaks in between of maybe 10 minutes.
Yes,
but for me, to you, I should have imagined that's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah. You've got to.
This is such a fascinating topic. I could talk forever.
There's so much in it.
It is. You have got, and this is what brought my attention yet again, because I am one of these people that have been following you all the way through. You know, those. You know, when I say to people, you never know who's watching. You never know who is looking at your posts, what you're doing, and they may not comment on your post that they're there. And because we met, and I was really interested in what you were doing, every now and then, you know, oh yes, she's there, she's doing that, and then suddenly. This an evening with Lisa Billingham came up on LinkedIn. I was absolutely ecstatic of you. I don't know how that came about, but I thought, wow, look how far she's gone in these years. It's amazing. How did that come about?
It's because obviously we haven't been able to go out, and I just thought, right, I'll do. And people kept saying to me, oh, you know, you need to do group mediumship, you need to do this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, well, at the moment, it's going to be online. And then we started to go back to a local face-to-face networking event, which is in Halsowing in the Sun in Romsley. And while I was there, I was like, oh, okay, so just ask the question, can I do a psychic event here? No, you can't. Can I do an author event here? Yes, you can. So I'm like, okay, go for it. When? And then it was like, well, you obviously need time to advertise it and all the rest of it and get it all set up and whatever. Okay, so let's go for a Tuesday. Tuesday's their quietest day. I said, well, it's got to work for you as well as me. Tuesday's their quietest night. Do you want to do a night? Do you want to do this? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So then just like, okay, 15th of March. Because I go to Milk One Sugar again on the 11th, it's in the same place. And I did it so that I can like put posters round and obviously get, you know, people from that group as well. Although most of them know me, there's always new people coming. And posters are in the pub and everything. And I just thought, if I do it just after that, a few days after that, then that will be fresh in people's mind from that. That's from the networking event as well. And I was like, let's just do it. Let's just go for March.
Brilliant.
And then I thought, okay, put a survey out, and this never happened before. It was exactly 50-50 split between online and in person for the author.
Yes, because I've booked myself into the online thinking that I'll never get up to Birmingham way. Found I double booked myself, and now I'm going, well, can I get up that way on the 15th? So you know, you just don't know who's watching, who's seeing. I'm going to share my screen just so that people can see the Eventbrite
page. Oh, thank you.
There you go. Excuse me. There you are. An evening with author Lisa Billingham. Sorry. Oh dear. Katie and Tom, there are the covers. There's lots more than just talking about the books that's going on that evening, isn't there? Because I've read down this myself, so please do read down if you when you go through, have a good look at it, because it's a full evening of entertainment. And also further down there is the online booking as well. And you've got your YouTube channel, and what I'll do, Lisa, is I'll put your YouTube, when this goes live, I will put the YouTube channel up, and hopefully people will subscribe to your YouTube channel as well. This is fascinating. Now we're going to do that. We've done this one. this is the
Yeah.
before, but we're going to do another one, aren't we, after your
Yes.
event to catch up with how it went, how you felt on the night.
I'm very excited, and I guess probably a little bit nervous, because when I was doing public speaking before, but not a great deal, and when I was working abroad as a holiday rep, you had to do the quite structured public speaking, but me being me, I didn't. You failed all your tests you haven't got the welcome meeting right. I'm like, tough, I'm doing what I'm doing here. So it's very much like it's not, the event isn't about me, it's about the audience, and it's what the audience will take away from it. And it's all about giving people that little tiny like chunk of inspiration to take a positive step in their life and to actually enjoy what you're doing and basically love your life, because we don't know how long we're here for, and that's the key, to enjoy every day. But I know what it's like to actually not, because a bit having a breakdown and things, and that's just the first one of the author ones, and I'll have some mediumship ones. I'm looking for venues for mediumship events as well, like smaller groups and then bigger groups going forward.
Lovely.
So that's the first one. So I can't believe it's only a couple of weeks away as well.
It's just fascinating. I'm just so excited for you. I really am.
You.
It's watch this space, everyone. Honestly, it is watch this space. I've heard a few more bits. We've been chatting beforehand, before we did this recording. We've been chatting. There is an enormous amount of new adventures coming Lisa's way, and hopefully you'll join her.
Yes, please do.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been a real pleasure, as ever.
Thank you, Jill.
And stay here a minute whilst I stop the recording, and we'll go from there. Everyone, you will find this on YouTube. I'm going to put it on, like I said, on Wednesday. It will go onto YouTube. So we'll put the YouTube channel, all the links in there for you to look up further as we go through. And join us again in a few weeks' time after the event with Lisa, just to find out how it went.